Yo, what's up, guys? Friday, Good Friday. So the calendar says Friday before Easter. Headed to work. Got to make a quick stop at the post office. Just want to chat with you guys. Anybody out there who's interested might rant a little bit. Going to touch on the Marvel market some because I'm getting questions. And want to talk about keeping it real. And what do I mean by keeping it real? We will see. I am going to run in the post office since nobody is currently in the room with me. Looks like Stephen Ryan is here. I may just actually, I'll take you guys in with me. But anyway, I'm sending 3 packages, guys. A Joe Burrow base prism bought for $50, sold for $80. A Bam Adebayo red select parallel. This one sold for $220. Bought this for like $140. And then a Hobgoblin Jambalaya 2017 Marvel card. I bought for $40, sold for $160, all on the bay. So contrary to popular belief, you can still buy and flip cards if you're doing it right. Okay, Joe Burrow prism, base prism, liquid. Bam Adebayo, red parallel, rare. Jambalaya Hobgoblin, a collector's card, all right? So if you buy the right stuff, you can move it. I'm tired of waking up every morning and seeing YouTube videos that are all doom and gloom. And I'm going to touch on that when I talk about keeping it real. And I will get into that. Let me go into the post office real quick. You guys can run with me. And it is Friday. Easter weekend coming up. I have off on Saturdays, and the casino that I work in is one of the only casinos that I know of that closes for Christmas and Easter. So I'll be closed. We'll be closed on Sunday. So I got a 2-day weekend coming up. I got one person ahead of me. So when you come in the post office, and you always get that one person ahead of you that isn't prepared. So I'm all packaged up and ready to go. And then they also don't have any idea normally what they're doing. We just kind of ask a bunch of questions. I'll check my PO box. Nothing in the PO box, which yesterday I got a really big package. I believe it's a Pearl Jam item. I have to open it. It's a long tube, so it might be a poster, but I want to open it on, I want to open it live on a live stream. So just go up here. Carl, you're coming to Rehoboth. Rehoboth will be busy this weekend. Oh, Lord. What did I do? What did I do in a previous life? What's up, Joel? What's up, Simdius?
Excuse me, can I just drop these priority envelopes in the slot over here? They're all ready.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. I don't like to say it, but sheesh, good Lord, man. Worse than an old woman writing a check at the grocery store. All right, guys, that was a long, boringest, almost the worst trip to the post office I've had in a long time. One person in front of me the entire time. Don't have nothing prepared. Looked like he needed a custom slip. Didn't even have his thing packaged. Was actually like packaging it on the freaking postal counter when they have like a workstation in there. What the fuck? All right, so. All right. Let's get some progress because, man, progress was being impeded right there. All right, so 3 packages I just sold. Nice and easy. Gravy train. We're going to go this way today. See if we can avoid any more idiots. All right, I talk about keeping it real. I talk about waking up every day and seeing doom and gloom on YouTube. But when I talk about keeping it real, I think some people's definition of keeping it real is having to just always talk poorly all the time about the hobby. I'm not going to say negative, just poorly. Now, whether it's reporting news, talking about another content creator, which I don't have the time or energy for that. I barely have enough time to show you guys what I'm doing with my life. The only reason I can even talk about this subject right now is because I'm going to be using this time to drive to work anyway, so I might as well talk about it. But in the real world, there's everything. Okay? In the hobby, there's everything. So to push everything positive, it's just an impossible narrative. To wake up every morning and put out a video that's talking poorly about the hobby or negative or whatever, I mean, that's just impossible too. I mean, if you really want to come on YouTube and say, I'm keeping it real, guys, I'm doing this for you, I'm keeping it real, well, then keep it real and call the good with the bad. You know, call the positive with the negative. Call it all. Or just don't fucking worry about what anybody else is doing and worry about yourself. And I'm sorry that I'm cussing. I'm having a great day. I'm not in a bad mood. Actually, this is fun. But how does someone wake up every morning to have enough energy to talk about someone else's life or what someone else is doing? It's so easy to make content if you just focus on yourself. You don't have to make anything up. You don't have to check the news stories. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. You don't have to report analytics. I know people love that stuff. And this is too much related to my to my live drive that I did last time. So I'm done talking about that. But I'm just saying, if you want to be real, if you want to say keeping it real, well, then keep it real and call it all. Don't just pinpoint the things that you think are bad and the things that you think are negative and strictly talk about those, or talk about everything's on the up and up and everybody needs to be positive and this, that, and the other. It's just not realistic in the real world or in the hobby. You can't even have one without the other. It's so cliche to say you can't have the dark without the light, but you can't. You can't have good without evil, or it's just one thing. It's just the given. You know, if you really want to be self-righteous or act like you're self-righteous, then talk about people selling drugs. Don't talk about people pumping cards. I mean, for good Lord, does that make you sleep better at night? I don't know. I don't know. Now, I've had a lot of questions about the Marvel market, and I dabble in the Marvel market enough to say that I can answer. There were some underperforming cards on golden auctions. Yes, you've seen them on social media. because everybody and their brother has reported on it. You know why? Because it gave them content to talk about. They don't give two shits about Marvel cards. They don't give two shits about cards going up and cards coming down. They don't give two shits as to why it happened. They just want something to talk about. It give them something to talk about. So it was posted on Instagram. People did videos. Yay, I got content for the day. Easy pickings. And if I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone, but you know what? Just going to keep it real. It's PMGs. PMGs have had a pullback, which everybody said was going to happen. Nothing goes up forever. You know, you could talk about this in any market, but right now we'll just say PMGs because that's what everybody wants to talk about. Go ahead. And they want to say the Marvel market has hit its bubble. If you remove your blinders, you will see that the rest of the Marvel card market is actually holding strong. And if you want to know why the PMGs have come down in price, it's because the people who are chasing them now own them. If you understand the Marvel card market, you'll understand that it's very collector driven. It's very collector based. And once the collectors have their cards, they don't need them anymore. They don't need to buy multiples. They're not buying them to resell them. Okay, somebody with a lot of money is going to overpay for a card, especially if they need it, especially if they need to complete a set. Set building in Marvel cards is bigger than almost anything that I've ever been a part of. Any sport, anything. People like to complete sets for some reason or another. Other Marvel cards are still selling really strong because people want to be in the Marvel card market. They just need entry-level cards. PMGs are not entry-level cards. The only people that can afford them are people with lots of money. And what's going to happen is once they have their cards again, the price is going to go down. Also, the people that have talked about this, I'm sorry, but you must have no knowledge of market value versus perceived value. To say that a certain market has crashed because of a couple sales of rare cards, mind you, okay? That's a perceived value. Like I said, to a collector, to one person, you know, if you have a very rare card that two people really want, that's all it takes. They drive the value of that card up and someone buys it. Another one comes to auction a month or two later. There's no competition. Okay, the person who bought it first is no longer bidding on the second one, which means the guy who lost the first one is going to have less competition to run that auction up. That's how it works with anything. It's how it works with any cards. And the thing is a lot of people I see talking about the Marvel market, they have no ties to it. They have no vested interest. They have no cards. They haven't bought. They haven't sold. I mean, that's like me going and being like answering questions and talking about the gold and silver market, which I know nothing about. That's like me going to a livestock auction to buy a cow. I don't know anything about farm animals. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, the price of cows are down. I don't even know the price of cows now. I'm just using it as an example. I'm just saying, a lot of people talking about it have no idea the collector base of the people buying the cards and sales and recent sales. And mind you this, I have a Doctor Strange card I bought for $1,000. That card sold in a private sale, not mine, but a card exactly like mine sold in a private sale for over $12,000. Now that was a private sale. That's not on any of your data sheets. That's not being talked about. It wasn't on Golden. Nobody's going to post that on social media. That was strictly a sale between the owner and the buyer. It went down. That sale went down. That same card that I have went on Golden auction last night in a similar grade, just a very slightly less grade. Mine's an 8.5. One went on Golden auction the other night in an 8 for $6,000. No one's saying that card is down because they don't even know what the previous sale was. Now I do. I know that card's slightly down, but down from what? Down from the most previous perceived value that someone bought for over 12K, but it's up from the $1,000 that I bought it from off ComC. So it's all relative. It's all relative, and everybody's speaking in definites and woe is me. And oh, good Lord, it's so funny to watch sometimes. And it makes me get on here and rant, and I don't like to rant, but it's like that with all cards. You can't put a market on a rare item. You can't put a market on a rare item. Something that sells one in every 3 to 4 months or less. How do you say it's worth this much? How do you say it's up? How do you say it's down? You know, the next person might perceive it as more and pay more for it or less. There might be private sales you know nothing about. So please, if you're going to talk about the hobby, if you're going to talk about a certain niche of cards, whether it be football, Dakota's thing, basketball, you know, baseball, which I don't get into a lot, you know, Marvel, F1, I know nothing about F1, so I'm not going to get on here and bash it. I'm not going to get on here and say the F1 market is a pump. I don't know that. I'm not going to say it is or it isn't. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about the drivers. I don't know anything about the popularity of it. You know, so for me to come on here and say that it's great would be wrong. For me to come on here and say it's a pump would be wrong. You know, I don't know what it is. And I'm not going to try to pretend that I do. So please, if you're going to get on YouTube every day, you know, like Winnie the Pooh and be like Eeyore on Winnie the Pooh. Some people just remind me, Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. If you guys are old enough to know who I'm talking about, he's like the donkey that just walks around moping all the time. If you're going to be Eeyore, that's not real. Okay? You're fake as that cartoon because everything's not down in the dumps all the time. And if you're going to come on here and be Tigger and bouncing around happy and positive all the time, well, that's not real either. That's all I got to say. I'm done. But I'm laughing at the end. It's all in good fun. If I offended somebody, then you're probably guilty. Right? If I said something and you think that I'm talking about you, then it's probably your conscience speaking. To be real. All right, guys, I got to go to work. Enjoy your holiday weekend. I might actually do a real live stream sometime, maybe even tonight. Who knows? You know, take it for what it's worth. You agree with me. You disagree with me. You like my opinions. You don't like my opinions. That's fine. I don't care. I'm just here to talk and entertain you guys, give you guys some of my thoughts, get stuff off my chest, and see you guys. Enjoy your Easter, and I'll see you guys when I see you.